Good morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Carrera. Today is Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. Three things happened at the Niners' first padded practice of the year yesterday. First, Trey Lance had the best practice out of any quarterback and probably his best practice of the year. There was a fight almost immediately, thanks to some big hits from the defense, which dominated the day by most of the reports, and had an injury scare. I know. Stop me if you've heard this before. On Brock Purdy's final throw of the day, Clelin Ferrell broke through the line and actually hit Purdy's surgically repaired arm. Now, all indications are Brock is okay, but come on. What are we doing here? The NFL does a good enough job on their own of injuring our quarterbacks. We don't need to do it ourselves. Second of all, Clelin Ferrell, what? Your spot on this team is far from guaranteed. That is the fastest way to get kicked out of town, potentially injuring the starting quarterback. Just take a deep breath. I know you want to prove yourself, but calm down. Let's not injure Brock Purdy ourselves, shall we? Now, to the audio portion of today's show. John Lynch met the media before practice and updated the status of contract talks with Nick Bosa.
I don't like this. I don't like not having one of our best players here. We've got a really good track record that I'm proud of as a group of having our players in. But I also understand it and understand that we're going to have to exhibit some patience and understand that ultimately this thing will work out. I'm very confident in that. And we're just going to have that right mix of urgency and patience. And again, I remain confident that we will come to an agreement and get things taken care of so we can have one of our best players, one of the best teammates. This is the guy that addresses our team every Saturday and just gives his wisdom. We miss him and looking forward to the day he's coming back.
Not sure how you balance patience and urgency considering they're basically opposites, but sure. Okay, John. Now, a lot of people are not worried about Bosa missing training camp because he's in such good physical shape. What do you think, John Lynch?
He's a specimen, and he's a specimen because he was blessed with some really good genes, but he's also a specimen because he works as hard as anyone I've ever seen in this game, and his plan is meticulous. It's adjusted each and every year. Having said that, I think there's a point that everybody as long as I played in year 13, you could say people used to ask, do you need training camp? I needed 3 weeks. I needed that to get ready. And so I don't know what that right time period. We've talked a lot about it internally, but I think that's important to give yourself the best chance to not only play at the highest level, but to stay healthy and get yourself primed and ready, calloused to play.
That's the first time I've actually seen anybody from the 49ers imply that Bosa can't just roll out of bed before week one and be in peak physical form. Not saying there's anything bad going on between the two sides, but it's just different from what we've seen before. Finally, I wanted to show you this clip about the Niners' top draft pick this year, Jair Brown. I haven't heard much about him since minicamp started. How's he been doing?
There has been somewhat of an adjustment. I don't want to say he's starting slow, but just learning the volume and the way we do things. But you're seeing it come on, and I think you'll see a guy like Jair Brown really shine when you start to put the pads on. We're very pleased with his development.
Lynch is a Hall of Fame safety. His opinion carries some weight with me. Plus, it's one of the few comments I've seen really that anybody's made about Brown, and I heard a lot of really good things about him after the draft, so I was hoping that we would actually get to hear a little bit more. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Tuesday, Mike Silver basically wrote the most damning article on Trey Lance's future that I have ever read from a member of the 49ers press corps. It's practically an obituary that goes all the way back to Shanahan, quote, going against his instincts in the 2021 NFL draft. You can read the story in the description of this episode. One thing to watch, interesting note from Diamador Lenore after practice yesterday. He mentioned that last year he found himself being too impatient at the line of scrimmage and, quote, opening the gate for wide receivers. Basically, he was giving them too easy of a release, and he found himself in chase mode really early on and panicking. So we'll have to keep an eye on him in the preseason and see if that's an issue he can correct. He seemingly did it in the playoffs, but again, that's a very small sample size. So let's see if he can actually do it in the preseason. One thing you may have missed, our own Steph Sanchez was actually at practice yesterday. She has officially joined the chorus of people singing the praises of former first-round draft pick Javon Kinlaw. Steph noted that Javon looks quick and explosive, and he won several of his one-on-one reps. That would be a great comeback story if it could actually come to fruition. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Enjoy your Tuesday, everybody. Stay tuned for the Bully Ball Podcast with Steph Sanchez and Jason Aponte. That's going to drop later today. Be sure to check out the new website, goldstandardniners.com, for more on these stories. I posted the entire John Lynch transcript. If you want to read quickly what he said, it is up on the website right now for you. Go and check it out. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk tomorrow.